What is up, everyone? It's Ryan here from Green Tech Network. Today I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing Aukey's new Dashcam. I believe it's relatively new based off of the reviews. I think it's come out within the last 3 months. Currently it's August 2017, so sometime over the summer, I believe. I bought it for around $69 on Amazon.com. I'm sure it's available at a multitude of different online retailers. I'll post some links below if you guys want to purchase it as well. So this is it. Comes in this box. Before I open it, I'm just going to run over some of the features if you guys are unaware. So it does record in 1080p, 30 frames per second, 720p at both 60 and 30 frames per second, and then WVGA and VGA for if for whatever reason you want to record in 2003 video quality. It has a 1.5-inch LCD display, which you can interact with. And the operating temperature is negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit to 167 degrees Fahrenheit. So perfect for, if you're out up north where it gets super cold, or if you're down south where it gets pretty hot. And for non-Americans, that's negative 30 degrees Celsius to 75 degrees Celsius. It does have GPS capabilities, so you can connect an external GPS to it. And in addition to that, it records supposedly up to 20 hours of 1080p video if you have a 128 gig card. I do not have a 32 gig. And the way it works is it actually will write these 3-minute videos, or 5-minute, 10-minute, whichever you specify on the settings, which I'll show you later. And then it'll, when the SD card becomes full, it'll go back and rewrite over the first videos that it recorded. So enough about the specs. I'll go ahead and open it up now. Comes in a pretty basic small box. Spoiler alert, I have opened this already. As you can see, I just wanted to get a feel for what was in the box before I did it on video. But this is the actual dash cam itself. The way it's supposed to be mounted is, imagine this is the front of your car, this is the back of your car, this is going to be on the angled part of your windshield, and then this is just point this down just like that, boom, good to go. So on the actual camera, you've got the 1.5-inch LCD display that I talked about earlier. It has 2 up buttons, which if I hold in the light a certain way, you can see 2 up buttons. Oh no, that's it looks like an up, but it's actually a warning symbol, like the triangle with an exclamation point in it upon further inspection. Then you have a down button and an OK button. These are all to mess with the internal settings. On the side, you have your micro SD card slot and your microphone little hole there. This is the lens, obviously. You can put this at pretty much any angle you want to. On this side, there's a reset button, I believe is what that is there. And then this is where the sticky pad, which I'll show you in a sec, locks into. On the back, you have a standard micro USB port, which is for both power and file transfers. If you want to transfer them without having to take the SD card out, that is possible. This middle guy here, one of them is the GPS. The middle one's the GPS here. So if you have an external GPS you want to hook up, it will be able to display miles per hour or kilometers per hour based off of that GPS. And then this is an AV output, so if you want to hook it up to a TV, I guess, you can do that with the composite cables. So that's the camera. It's actually extremely lightweight, which I was kind of surprised. It almost feels like a plastic shell with nothing inside it, which could be a good thing if you're in a some sort of like a car accident. You don't want this thing flying around and hit you in the head. So I guess it's good that it's pretty lightweight. We got more foam, obviously more foam. You've got your user manual, multiple different languages, English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, and I believe that's Mandarin Chinese. In addition, you get I believe it's 15 foot. I tried to measure it. It's about 3 of my wingspan, so it should be around 15 feet or so. Maybe a little bit shorter than 15 feet. And it's got, standard USB, micro USB. So this is great for when you stick it on your windshield. You don't want the wires dangling down, so you have a long cable along with some wire clips. So you use these in theory to run the wire from, let's say this is your dashboard, you got your camera, like right here. You have your camera with the USB cable, and that's going to run down across your windshield, down by the passenger seat, across the floor, under the floor mat maybe, and then up into your center console power adapter, which, speaking of, comes in the box, which is pretty nice. It's a, obviously, 12 volt DC, just dual USB power adapter, 3.1 amps, so it should be more than enough to power the camera, plus charge your phone maybe as well, because it does have 2 ports, so I assume that's the reason. Put this guy back in here real quick. So then we've just got the kind of quick release sticky pad for the camera. So once you do set it up on your car, you just pop that guy in just like that, and then peel this off, slap it on there, and then you can pull the camera off without having to pull the adhesive off your windshield, which is nice. You just gotta slide it which way. It's actually really hard to get off. I think it's this way. So yeah, there we go. Pretty hard to get off. And then you also get 2 additional 3M sticky pads for the quick release plastic guy. So I guess in the event that you accidentally pull it off your windshield, you got 2 more as backups, which is pretty good. So let me just put everything in front of the camera so you can get a quick view of what it comes with exactly, and then the user manual obviously, but no one cares about that. So this is quick run through of what comes in the box. I'm gonna go ahead and hook this guy up to put an SD card in it first, and then hook it up to some power just here in my room. I'm not gonna set it up in my car yet, and just go through the user menu and show what options are available. Okay, so I went ahead and plugged in the USB cable on the other side of the room. So we've got here, does have a live power. You just pop it in, and then you see the light turn on up there in the upper right, and then it'll boot up. Give it a sec. There we go. So the user manual says that when this light is solid, it's not recording, and when it starts blinking, it is recording. And then you can also see on the screen there, that's the little recording symbol, and that's the length it's been recording for. That is the quality, so 1080p, full HD. That little guy symbol there means the microphone's on, and then these are your buttons with the symbols. So what's nice about this is it will automatically start recording right when you start your car up, so you don't have to worry about queuing it up each time you hop in the car. It just is fully automatic, which is nice. And then also when you cut the power to it, or for whatever reason turns off, it will keep that video file saved. It does have a very small battery in it. I just tested, unplugged the cable, and it will keep the device powered for a short period of time if the power's cut off for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the user menu. So you hit the second button in here. I'll get it a little bit closer. It's kind of hard to see with the saturation. So first option's resolution. You can change all the video settings, like I said earlier, the different resolutions. 1080p, why not? Loop recording. So this is how long the video files are before they, so let's say it records for 2 hours. It's going to break that 2 hours up into a bunch of different 3-minute clips. And then as the SD card gets full, it'll go back to the beginning of those 3-minute clips and delete them one by one to overwrite, because you can only fit so much on a memory card. So you can either have that option to be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10. 3 is fine with me. I went ahead and set the date and the time here. August 3rd and the time. Date stamp, so this will leave the date stamp on the video. I put that on just because I figured it'd be useful. This is a record audio option, so you can either mute the microphone or have it record audio as well, which is a nice feature. Beep sound, I turned this off right away, so you can hear now it beeps when you turn that on. That's kind of annoying, so I turned that off. EV, I believe, is some sort of like a saturation lighting setting. I just have it set to 0. Frequency, I set to 50. I might change it to 60. That might only be you know, pertinent for the AV output, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Speed, so this is if you have your GPS hooked in, which I don't have an external GPS adapter, but you can do mile per hour or kilometer per hour. The accelerometer, I have it on low sensitivity. I believe you can set it to go into like kind of like an emergency mode, which will automatically save everything right away. If you get hit real quick, it'll automatically do that for you. So I'll have to test around and see, depending on how hard I brake, when it turns on, all that. This is TV mode. And if you want to use the AV output, I don't know why no one would do that, but you want to show your family on the big screen, I guess. Languages, you got English, France, Spanish, German, Italian, Chinese, Portuguese, Greek maybe, and then actually that might be Japanese, I don't know. 3 Asian speaking countries. I'm not sure differentiation between Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. Screensaver, this turns off the screen after a set amount of time of recording, so I have it off right now just so the screen's always on. Motion detection, this is a nice feature. So if your car's at a standstill, like you parked it, it still has power, which some power outlets will still provide power after the car's off. It will only start recording if it detects motion, which is great for if someone comes up and vandalizes your car. It'll catch that automatically without overwriting, because it can only store 5 hours of video on a 32 gig card. So it'll only capture that video if it detects motion, which is really nice. A time-lapse record. This is kind of cool, I guess, if you're driving cross-country and don't care about actually recording any accidents that you might come into. This takes a photo once every second and then puts it into, turn that off, puts it into a video at 30 frames per second. So you get 30 pictures in 1 second, basically. Kind of cool. Format's the SD card. Format warning, I'm not sure what the format warning setting is. There was nothing in the user manual. I really don't know, to be honest, what this is, and I couldn't find anything about it. Same thing with default. Actually, I think this sets all the settings to default, so no, I don't want to do that. And this just tells you the version. I haven't looked online if there's any version updates or anything like that, but that's pretty much it. This lets you play back video, so I can go ahead, so it's just recording now, I can go ahead and hit playback, video file, and then I guess let's choose the most recent, which I believe is at the top of the list. It'll be me talking for about a second. I'll hit play. Okay, nope, that was actually, I guess the most recent are at the bottom. So let's go down just so you can hear the microphone, I guess, me talking. So it does have audio built in with a little speaker, which is nice. So if you get an accident and there's a police officer there for the scene, you can show him right on this, which is a nice feature with the audio and everything. Then you also view photos as well. And then this is the emergency button, which if I interpreted it correctly in the user manual, this will kind of automatically save your video right away in the event that something just happened or you want to mark that video as important. It's kind of wasn't super clear in the user manual. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So it just says here that it enters emergency recording mode, and then let's see if it says anything in here about emergency recording. So yeah, basically it just says that you press it to back up the current file so it's not overwritten, and then it'll appear in the top left of the screen. So it basically marks the video to be saved, is my interpretation. So that if you accidentally keep driving and you think oh, I wanted to capture this moment, it won't overwrite that 3-minute clip that it was in. So that's basically an overview of the camera. So I'll go ahead and cut the power, just so you can see. how long it really lasts. Let's go ahead and vote. So turns off right away. There is the light on there in the upper corner for a bit, but that's it. So you don't really get much power. It's just enough power to really back up whatever it's currently recording and then safely boot off. And then there is, the small battery inside to keep the clock up to date. But I mean, that's pretty much the main functionality of it. I'm gonna go ahead and record. I'm gonna set it up in my car first, and then record a few videos of me driving around. Different settings. I'm gonna go for something sunny, mid-level light, and then hopefully something at night, and then incorporate them into this review just so you can get a feel for kind of the video quality of it. In this clip, I'm driving at around 7:30 in the morning, so the sun's just coming up. The audio is muted and we're running at 10 times speed. There's a little bit of blurriness with some taillights and the lights around, but I believe that's mainly attributed to my dirty windshield and not so much of the actual dash cam. In this clip, you get to see me drive through a parking garage, which is relatively low light, and then emerge from the parking garage into a higher light situation. And as you can see, the camera has a little bit of difficulty right around here, displaying both the dark areas like the car on the left and then the light outside all at once. But you can see as I come up to the stop sign and pull out actually into the sun, the camera takes over and adjusts the contrast and brightness, to ensure that everything's pretty much visible. So right around this point is where it starts to adjust everything back to normal. In this clip, we're running at 1 times speed with fully muted audio because I was playing music at the time of recording this, and I just want to give a quick little commentary. As you can see, the camera's focusing on the reflection of the dashboard and not the cars or the scenery depicted. Unfortunately, in my car has a very reflective dashboard. This isn't something that occurs in every car. I've driven a few other cars and it's not nearly as noticeable as it is in my car. But unfortunately for me, when I'm driving into the sun, the camera tends to pick up on that reflection. As you could see in the previous clips, as long as I'm not driving directly into the sun, you can't even really see the dashboard that much. But this may only be an issue in my car. I can't really say for sure. But luckily, even with the reflection, you can still see which cars are driving by, makes and models. You might not necessarily be able to see the license plates if the camera's focused on the dashboard reflection, but for insurance purposes, you can pretty much tell who's at fault in an accident. Apart from this dashboard reflection issue, the camera performs pretty well, as you can see in the other clips. At this point, for me recording this commentary, I've had the camera for about 3 weeks, and it's worked pretty flawlessly. The one thing I have noticed, though, is that if your car doesn't have a USB port or a power adapter that stays on after the car is turned off, the motion detection feature of this camera is pretty much worthless, because for me in my car, the power outlets will turn off after about 10-20 minutes after the car is not in use, in which case the camera will fully shut off. Even if somebody walks by, the motion detection will no longer work. But if you have a car where the power adapter stays on 24/7, the motion detection thing is probably great. You can see if someone comes by and keys your car, or if someone backs into you while your car is off. That's a very valuable feature if your car has that. But apart from that, the camera's great. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's only, I believe, $60 on Amazon, and I haven't had any issues. But that pretty much concludes the review for the Aukey Dashcam. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe, and thank you for watching.